Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Mark Morowitz is certainly someone that you've heard before. He's well known here in South Florida. He is a CPA, but he's more than that. He really helps people with his consultations and thinking through what families could be doing, whether it's financial or otherwise. He's really like a therapist, actually, in a way, because he's been doing this for so long with money and families, and he gets so involved with the person once you've used him as a CPA, and so now you found yourself. It's almost like a new career for you, isn't it, Mark?
Exactly.
So what are you doing with this now during this very trying time? You're using all your assets of smartness and experience, and I'm sure you have a lot of your clients calling you not knowing what they should be doing.
Well, this is the perfect time for me to be a CPA. I'm basically hunkered down just doing tax returns. But
right.
I didn't expect it to be like this. In fact, I travel between Florida and New Jersey, and I'm supposed to go back next Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on a plane. So,
no, don't do that. No.
Right.
No.
It's kind of like the new world to a lot of my clients who feel like they need to sit down in front of me and do their tax returns the old style way. Is all they have to do is send me their information, and we can do it over the phone, just like we're doing this interview.
That's
just
right.
Like doctors and psychiatrists are doing, phone sessions. So
Yes.
it's a start of the new world and the recognition of it.
It's interesting you should say that, because that's what this wonderful woman was saying, that we have to look at this as a new wave of something that we weren't prepared for, but that we can adjust, and maybe some good things will come out of this. So maybe that's what you're saying. Doesn't the IRS take that 15th deadline now and extend it?
Thankfully, yesterday they made the decision. Well, there were a number of things that came out over the past couple of days. The first one was that they were going to give people a chance to some extra time to pay their balance, which up to July 15th. Yesterday, they finally were smart and said, we're going to give everybody a chance to wait the 3 months and file your tax return by July 15th. So that was a tremendous load off my mind yesterday, because I can certainly use the time.
Yes, I'm sure that is true. So tell us, though, in your capacity as a counselor and a CPA and all the other things you do for all your clients and your family, what's on your mind?
Well, you know what? The interesting thing is I just got a call earlier from a client / my best friend who happens to be a psychiatrist. And he got a phone call from his financial advisor, his stockbroker, earlier, and, basically was asking him, telling him that his account the value was down by 20%, and, what do you want to do with your money, and blah, blah, blah. Do you need any money put on the side? And he called to ask me what my thoughts were on it. And, I said, well, I kind of went through, about a week ago, I went through this real doom and gloom depression phase, where I felt like I don't know that I'm really being told the truth about all of what's going on. And the uncertainty that everybody has is just, it's what's creating all this havoc, and it's causing the markets to go crazy. And once the markets go crazy, then everybody's afraid they're losing everything they have. People are losing their jobs. The world has changed drastically in the past week, mostly in the past week. And I don't know that it'll ever be the same or recognizable to us the way it was in the past. And, that's so I understand the fears that people have. I still see a lot of people that don't really, that are still not convinced that there's a problem out there. All right. And that's okay if people don't believe that there's a problem. But when it comes to me, I just tell them, just don't breathe on me. If you want to get yourself sick, get yourself sick. Just don't get me sick. So I'm taking precautions. I'm in that older group, that the boomer group, that you have to be careful. I'm not a millennial, and I just hope the millennials don't think that they're invincible in all this.
Yeah, right. Well, we saw on the news yesterday, San Francisco. Now, they said that everybody's supposed to stay at home. And here you see these people running, walking, doing a lot of things, and, not in tight crowds, but by themselves. And they said that San Francisco is in trouble and they really should be home.
Oh, boy. That's. I have a son who lives in San Francisco.
Do you?
Yeah, I need to call him.
Right. Well, because they're really closed it down. That's what my cousin told me. He lives there. Someone also said that they were driving on A1A in Fort Lauderdale and the beaches were packed because it's spring break. But now I heard today they're closing the beaches.
They said they closed them 2 days ago.
Oh, well, maybe
the only
it was.
beaches that are open are Delray Beach.
Really? Delray Beach is open?
From what I understand. I, of course, am not going out of my house, so I can't tell you firsthand, but I've seen pictures. I had a friend who was there yesterday who I won't let into my house, so, who knows? Who knows?
Okay. That's interesting.
Let me, if I can, if you could indulge me.
I want to indulge you.
This is what I thought about this morning. I know we're I'm a financial guy, but this is what I thought about this morning regarding what's happening with the coronavirus and the whole thing. So I think everybody was expecting World War III at some point in the near future, with the United States fighting Russia and North Korea and nuclear weapons and the world blowing up because of all of that. And I think what's happened is we are fighting a World War III right now against an enemy that nobody expected and nobody knows about, okay? And that's the virus. And I think what's going to happen, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think in the long term, it's going to bring the world closer together. It's going to stop the hate and maybe help people get to the point where they understand that they need to slow down. They need to learn how to communicate more. They have to remember how to talk to their kids and enjoy their time and find the balance in life that's been missing for the last 10 years that I know of. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're doing. That's why this thing is where it is. I spoke to a couple of clients today that are real high-powered casino guys. They say, you know what? This morning I went out. I went for a 5-mile walk with my wife. I haven't done that in 20 years. It's fantastic. We spoke to one another. It was great. So, I think this is going to have its positive effect as well.
Yeah, that's what exactly what Colleen Haney, the lady who does the work, the therapy work and the energy therapy work. That's what she said. That's exactly what I knew you weren't listening to it yet. But that's what she was saying, that it can bring about some new things happening in our lives because we've all had to take time. And because some people, of course, I feel sorry for the people who don't have any money. They've lost their jobs. How are they going to feed themselves? How are they going to pay their mortgage? But hopefully the government will help them with that too. I don't know.
I think this is going to give us some insight into what it might have been like during the Depression in 1929. I don't know. I mean, it's the closest thing I can envision to what it might have been like back in those days.
Right, exactly. So it's but we weren't ready for this. I mean, I guess it started in China. We heard about it, but I don't think we all got so concerned. It was something that was happening in China, right? But we should have been prepared for something like this. And just imagine that the entire country of Italy has shut down.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's everybody walks around saying the same thing. This is crazy. I walk out of my house. It's eerily silent. There's no noise. There's no birds. There's nothing happening. I feel like I'm walking into a Twilight Zone episode.
Yep. Yeah, and I was thinking about that myself because I haven't gone to the grocery store. I do need to go. I don't need toilet paper. I could use a couple of rolls of paper towels, but I have a lot of food. It's just I need, a couple of refreshing things. But it is, and I don't know what's going on there. As a matter of fact, I will admit that I had planned on voting yesterday, but I was told I shouldn't go. It's too dangerous, and I didn't vote, which is the first time, I think, in years. But I'm taking this very seriously.
Well, from what I understand, I've been to the supermarket. The supermarkets will remain open, and there's not a run on food. We don't need to stock up on food. There's plenty of food. In fact, I have a client who has a supermarket on the Jersey Shore. I just spoke to the manager today, and he told me that they're doing, now they're coming into their summertime business after Memorial Day, and to them, in the summertime on the Jersey Shore is like the wintertime here. So it's their big in season. He said they're doing summertime numbers now in the store, okay, because people are just hoarding things, and there's a run on everything in the store. He showed me the picture of some shelves that were totally empty, and it's crazy. It's crazy. There's no need for everybody to go out and buy as much as they can.
Yep, that's really true.
2 weeks, just in case you have to be quarantined. That's all you need is 2 weeks worth of stuff.
Right.
I have 36 eggs in my house. I'm good.
How many eggs?
I have two cases of 18, 36 eggs. That should last a couple of weeks.
I see. I want to change the subject on something because you're very smart. Our book of the month last month was talking about how you can find money, from all different sources, and Mary Hinton is the author. Do you know it's a great book, and I'm sure that you taken all your clients and looked in all the places to find money that might be there somewhere?
I have not, and probably the reason I haven't is because a lot of my clients really aren't interested. They're going to be soon, and in fact I told somebody today, now you're going to understand living the way I've tried to get you to do for the last 5 years. And that's watch what you have. You don't have to spend every dime. So if you just cut back, just not being out for 2 weeks, if you have to be home now, just being out, people will see how much money they actually spend because you have no place to spend it now.
Oh, that's funny. Right.
It's going to be an eye-opening thing for people.
Well, I did find some money. Not much. I found close to about $289 in two different places and some taxes that we paid in Miami. So I'm going to keep looking. That's not a lot of money. Of course, you have to send in the death certificate and a lot of the things in the person's name, but there might be more. She said that there could be a lot of money, for things, life insurance policies, or people die and you didn't know they had life insurance and all sorts of things like that.
Well, here's another one.
What?
People become elderly, and they signed up for things like Sirius satellite radio, okay, that they don't listen to anymore. But yet the bill keeps coming and getting paid. Those are the things. That's found money right there. I have a client who actually has an elderly mother, and she actually went through all of her bills and found, like 4 or 5 of those kinds of instances. We're talking about a couple of $100 a month. It starts to add up.
Yeah, that's right. So you're absolutely right. I think there is like $25 in something, but it's from my father who passed away a long time ago, and it's with my brother, and I'm not going to go through the trouble of trying to find that. But this other will be easy for me because it was in my husband's name, and I have his death certificate, and so it's kind of an interesting thing. When she was on the show, she did mention how some people have gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars from various stuff. Have you ever tried it yourself?
You mean is that on the...
Not only life insurance, but on anything. It could have been some stock that people forgot or something that the state keeps in...
You're talking about unclaimed property?
Yes, all unclaimed properties, yes.
I've never had anything in unclaimed property.
Have you looked?
Yes, I've never had anything.
Okay. That's right. So that's the thing. Well, I'm going to definitely continue because I was teased by getting a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. But
Why not?
right. So Mark, now with this, when you were married at one point and you did have your family, would it have been different for you now? I mean, for you then, if this were the problem, than being alone now? I mean, is it scary for you to be alone?
Well, it is kind of, but I have friends that we check in on each other regularly, and we have that covered. But the people in the 60-year-olds and early 70-year-olds who are my friends, and they're afraid. They have some health issues, and they're afraid of anything coming in, and that's the scary part. And I fully understand it. But you know what? You miss your lifestyle. One of the reasons I came to Florida was for a better lifestyle. It's something we'll get used to it. Hopefully it's not going to be forever. But yeah, it is kind of weird. Living alone, having these issues.
Right.
I worry about the kids. I don't typically worry about myself, but if I start coughing,
right,
then I'll start working.
Right. So when I went to this energy therapist last night, she's a friend, but she's also quite a professional. And I told her, I said, gee, this is nerve-wracking. And she asked me a very pointed question. She said, are you afraid that you're going to die? And I looked at her and I said, no. She said, well, then you just do what you should do. There are people who are afraid and they probably will die because that's what they're putting in their brain.
Right.
So it's just, I wouldn't look forward to getting sick and all that. But she said, if you could just keep those thoughts out of your brain and think positively. But I think if you had a good friend who you spent time with, that would help too, because I'm also alone like you are. And I do have some friends, and I usually get one of my sons to come over for Thursday nights and dine with me, and then Friday night, and then I have another friend. But I just asked a friend who lives in the condo, I said, why don't we have dinner once a week on Monday night or something? She said, that's a good idea. So I'm trying to fill in that time because I usually work during the day as you do.
Well, at this time of year, I work all hours of the night. I really don't socialize at all at this time of year.
Oh.
So I'm really not missing anything. But it's going to be after April 15th. It's going to be a little odd not being able. We usually have a Wednesday night group that goes out for happy hour and some music and stuff like that. And I just don't see it happening. In fact, they closed the pool by my house. So I thought maybe now I could get a little swimming in, but I can't even do that.
Yeah, they closed all the rooms, all the public rooms in our place. As a matter of fact, the condo, when you walk in, there's a desk where the people sit, who are the security guard. They now have roped that off, and they have a table, and they say that if you have a package, you'll just look on this table. And even the little dog biscuits, everything, they're separating everybody.
Right.
It's very strange.
Nobody wants anybody to get sick.
No,
and
I know.
They're taking extra precautions, and if it turns out to be nothing, that'll be great.
Yeah.
But if it turns out to be something, at least we're giving it a chance.
Right. But there are people who are being affected, and most of them so far, at least in Florida, have been in the nursing homes or in situations where the people are already not in the greatest shape, right? Right. But that's not necessarily true in New York.
I don't know.
No, it's I don't
know.
Well, you have Rochelle. I don't know where New Rochelle is. I'm sure you do because I'm not familiar with New York, but they really have a serious problem there.
I was bar mitzvahed in New Rochelle.
Oh, my God, really?
New Rochelle is just above New York City in Westchester County, right near the border of Connecticut. And it's actually a wealthy area. And I guess it's a close-knit. I think it's an Orthodox community now, Jewish community.
I see.
And everybody's really tight-knit. So the odds of contracting something there are probably higher than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's exactly what's happened. And then, of course, they have. I told you about San Francisco, and now they've found. I think I saw I saw a young kid did something very interesting. He's only 17, and he lives in Seattle or somewhere in Washington, state of Washington. And I think in January, maybe December, he started a website that shows every single location in the world, United States, in the world, and he shows how many people have it, where they, what community they're in. It's an amazing thing. I don't exactly know the name of it now because I saw it yesterday. But if you look at it, it's affecting everyone, everywhere. And now I think that Africa, they just found something in Africa, which is very bad because they're not prepared.
Yep, that's correct.
So
that's correct. All you can do is stay safe and, do the best you can. That's all we have.
And I think we'll have a lot more people listening to our radio shows because they can't do anything else. So I have to sit there.
That's good news for you.
Yeah,
right?
good news for us, right? Good news for you too. And so,
Absolutely.
it's well, of course, I'm working on the April issue, and I'm thinking, I do have some excellent articles from real professionals all over the world, but I don't know just how much I should put in this. I'd like to keep this happy.
Yeah, you know what? I think just keep it real. Keep it real, and I think what I'm going to do in the article I'm going to write now, thinking about it, I'm going to probably talk about this not in a real negative way, but just talk about it and say, what steps can you take to protect what your finances for the next 6 months, because that's what we're looking. We don't know what's going to happen in another couple of months.
Right.
So the uncertainty, I'm going to try to help people protect themselves from the uncertainty.
Yep.
And see what happens.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's some people that don't even have that opportunity. They just work at a job and, they don't have that extra money. So we might find food lines, or, we might find people we know that we can just lend a hand to, give them food that we're eating, or do things. I don't know. I'm sure there are a lot of not-for-profits who are going to step up to the plate. And, you think about Bloomberg spending all the billions on ads. Now, maybe he can part with some of that money to help. He probably would.
I think he already does, and I'm sure he'll do more.
Yeah.
But we come from a very benevolent society, and I'm sure that stuff like that is going to happen a lot.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of people that don't know how to ask, and they don't know what to do. They've never been in this position. They just go to the grocery store and they fill up with gas, and now they don't know where it's going to come from. But and when you think about it, all the people who have let their employees go, what are they doing? There's no business.
Correct. Right. That's right. So I don't know. That's the uncertainty, that we don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Well, we had a guest on the show today who is a wordsmith. It's Richard Lederer. He's out in San Diego, and he talked about the word coronavirus and where it comes from, and he really gave us, it was kind of in jest, but a lot of things with vaccines. That's the other thing. It looks like there's not going to be a vaccine around for about a year, a real vaccine that's been tested.
Typically, no. Typically, there's not. It takes time. That's why this thing's going to be out there for a long time.
Did you get a flu shot?
I did not get a flu shot. I've never gotten a flu shot.
Oh, I get one every year. I got a flu shot and I got a pneumonia shot. I got that. I do that every year because the doctors do it. So I said, okay, if it's good for the doctors, I'm doing it. It's just a good precaution. People, the research, the money they spend on vaccines is so great, so why not take advantage of it? I hope that people who didn't get a flu shot are still going to be okay, Mark.
I hope so. I'll certainly let you know if I'm not.
No.
But,
Well, do you have plenty of Vicks at home?
No, but I'm sure my friends will bring me some.
And,
they always make sure that I have that.
Okay, and I'll give you another hint. And I just had someone attest to this. It's important. This energy healer therapist told me, when I get a cold or I get sniffles, I always take and rub my feet with Vicks and put socks on. And that's what I've been doing. And she said, well, of course, because it's your feet. That's very important. And it's all part of your whole system. You should that's a good thing to do. And so I was glad to have her attest to that.
All right, rub my feet with Vicks and put socks on.
Exactly. And in the morning you wake up, your sniffles will be gone.
Really?
Rather than putting it on your chest. That's exactly right. It's one of those. It's not an old wives' tale, because I had a doctor on my show at one time, and he's from India, and he said, "Of course, we all know that." Oh, good. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so Mark, I'm glad that you took the time to call, and I know that you're going to get everybody's taxes done, and you're going to watch some real funny things on the boob tube, right?
I don't have time to really watch anything, but.
So where are you getting your news from?
Oh, I keep the TV on.
Oh.
Just in the background, I keep the news on.
I see.
Just so I can hear stuff, but I don't really have time to watch it.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I've been watching too much of it. It's just not. Shouldn't do it. For that reason, I want to know every minute. Oh, what do they find now? But I've got to stop it, because it does become debilitating.
Absolutely, definitely does.
Well, I miss having you here in the studio, but thank you.
I will be back next month.
Okay, thank you for calling in, and good luck with everything, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark Morowitz. Oh, wait, before you leave, let's get your phone number, please. Tell everybody your phone number. I have it, but why don't you do it? Wait, go ahead.
609-338-3603. Mark Morowitz. That's my cell phone number, so you can call me anyplace. I'm based in Delray Beach, and I'm the CPA that is more than just numbers. I talk about everything. So
yes, you do.
Feel free to give me a buzz.
And on the web, it's morowitzcpa.com. Thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate your being here. All right, bye.